everyone. So Subnautica 2 has been through a lot lately, between the leadership changes, the delay, and yes, that whole lawsuit situation. It's been quite the journey. There's a lot to unpack here, and honestly, some of what's happening in the community right now is, well, let's talk about it. For those who need a full recap, let me walk you through what's been happening. A few weeks ago, Krafton, that's the publisher who bought Unknown Worlds back in 2021 for about $500 million, made a pretty shocking announcement. They removed the studio's original readership team, and we're not talking about some random executives here. We're talking about Charlie Cleveland and Max McGuire, the co-founders of Unknown Worlds, and Ted Gill, who was the CEO, who created the original Subnautica. Now, the way this went down was sudden. Like one day they're there, and the next day Krafton announces that they're out and that Steve Papotsis, sorry for the name, from Striking Distance Studios is now the CEO. If you're wondering who that is, he worked on the Callisto Protocol, which had its own issues at launch. Then, things got more complicated. The game got delayed from 2025 to 2026. And here's where it gets really messy. Reports started coming out about a $250 million bonus that was supposed to be paid out if certain targets were met by the end of 2025. With that delay, that bonus was in question. The formal readership didn't stay quiet either. Charlie Cleveland went on Reddit, and I've been reading through his posts basically saying that the game was ready for early access and that Krafton's claims weren't accurate. Then he announced they're actually suing Krafton. Like, this went from zero to lawsuit really fast. The community reaction has been intense. People were removing the game from their wish list, calling for others to do the same. The Subnautica Reddit has been absolutely wild in theories, arguments, and just general frustration about the whole situation. And now, in the middle of all this drama, they actually released a gameplay trailer. These are the people.
You will sleep through 14 years of flight to your new home on Caesura. We encourage you to nurture your dreams. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. When you wake up, your new life begins.
Okay, so seeing that, that's what we're potentially getting. And the community response to this has been really mixed. I've been going through Reddit threads, and it's fascinating to see the different takes. Some people are like, this looks amazing, I don't care about the drama, I just want to play. But then you have the others who are more skeptical. There are conversations discussing whether the trailer was rushed out to do damage control. But here's where things get really frustrating, at least for me. Some people have started review bombing Subnautica Below Zero on Steam because of the Subnautica 2 drama. And like, come on, really? Below Zero is a finished game. It's been out for years. It has nothing to do with the current situation. But if you go look at the recent reviews, there's a bunch of negative ones that just say things like boycott Krafton or justice for the original devs or whatever. I went through some of these reviews and it's clear people are just angry and lashing out. That's not how reviews should work. They're not hurting Krafton, you're hurting people who might want to play a genuinely good game. And the thing is, I get being upset, I really do. But review bombing a completed game that has nothing to do with the current drama, that's just muddies the water and makes the community look unreasonable. If you want to protest, there are better ways to do it than punishing a game that the original creators already finished and are probably proud of. The Reddit discussions have been all over the place. There's this one thread where people are trying to figure out who to believe. Someone did this whole timeline with links to every statement, every claim, trying to piece together what actually happened. It's like detective work at this point. One interesting conversation I found was about the leaked documents that showed Subnautica 2's development status. Krafton actually confirmed these were real, which is unusual. The documents suggested that the game was behind schedule and missing features. But then you have the former devs saying it was ready for early access. So who's telling the truth? Another thread was discussing whether this is just about money or if there are genuine creative differences. Someone who claims to work in a game development wrote this long post about how these situations are usually way more complicated than they appear from the outside. They talked about how publisher-developer relationships can go south even when both sides think they're doing the right thing. So where does this leave us as players, as people who just want to play a good Subnautica game? I've been thinking about this a lot, and here's the thing. Game development is messy. It's complicated, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the final product will be bad. Most of the development team, the people actually making the game day to day, they're still there. The artists are creating those beautiful environments, the programmers coding the systems, the designer crafting the experience, they're still working on it. Yes, the leadership changed, but games are made by teams, not just by the people at the top. At the same time, I understand why people are concerned. The original creators had a vision, and there's fear that vision might be compromised. That's valid. When you love something, you want to know it's in good hands. There's also the principle of the thing. If Krafton really did delay the game to avoid paying bonuses, and we don't know that for sure, that's pretty messed up. Supporting companies that treat developers poorly isn't great for the industry. But then again, we don't have all the information. We're seeing one side through Reddit posts and another through corporate statements. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle and way more complicated than any of us on the outside can really understand. Okay, so there's actually been a pretty significant update just a couple of days ago. Remember that $250 million bonus I mentioned? Well, there's some good news for the developers still working on the game. According to Bloomberg, Krafton has agreed to extend the bonus period through 2026. About 40 employees at Unknown Worlds were eligible to share a $25 million bonus if they hit a certain revenue target by the end of 2025. With that delay, everyone thought that bonus was gone. But now Krafton is extending the deadline. They are also apparently advancing a portion of the 2026 profit sharing bonus to employees this year. So the people actually building the game day to day, they are not completely screwed over by all this drama. This is actually pretty significant. One of the biggest concerns in the community was that regular developers were going to suffer because of this corporate battle. People were saying things like the workers always get hurt in these situations. And honestly, that's usually true. But at least in this case, it looks like Krafton is trying to make sure the development team doesn't lose out if they hit their target. Now, does this make everything okay? Not really. The lawsuit is happening. Charlie Cleveland actually released a redacted public version of the lawsuit claiming that Krafton deliberately delayed Subnautica 2 to avoid paying the bonuses. So clearly, there's still bad blood there. But for the people still at the studio, still working on the game we all want to play, having that bonus period extended is definitely better than nothing. It means they have incentive to stay and finish the game rather than jumping ship to other studios. What's interesting is the timing. Why extend the bonus period now? Is it because of all the negative publicity, the boycott calls? Or maybe they realized that losing the entire development team would be way worse than potentially paying out bonuses. We'll probably never know the real reasoning, but at least it's a positive development for the workers. So what happens now? Well, the game is still in development. Early access is planned for 2026, which feels far away, but isn't that unusual for game development. They say they're adding more content, more biomes, more story. Whether that's true or just PR speak, time will tell. The lawsuit will probably take a while to resolve. Legal stuff always does. We might get more information from that, or it might all be settled behind closed doors and we'll never know the full story. For the community, I think we're at crossroads. We can either spiral into negativity and conspiracy theories, or we can take a step back and wait to see what actually happens in the game. Review bombing other games isn't helping anyone. Harassing developers on social media isn't helping anyone. What might actually help? Constructive feedback when they show more of the game, supporting the developers who are still there working on it. Remember, most of the team had nothing to do with this drama. Being patient and seeing what they actually deliver before passing final judgment. Look, I get it. This whole situation feels bad. When you're passionate about something, when you've been waiting years for a sequel, this kind of drama hits different. You want to know that the thing you're excited about is being made with love and care, not just as a corporate product. But here's what we know now. The development team is still there, the bonus period has been extended, so they still have a chance at their payout. The game is still being made. Yes, there is drama at the top, but the people actually crafting the underwater world we want to explore, they're still at their desks, still creating. The lawsuit will play out however it will play out. Corporate battles happen, but at the end of the day, the game will speak for itself. When early access launches in 2026, we'll know if it captures that Subnautica magic or not. Until then, all we have is speculation, drama, and a pretty nice looking trailer. So what's your take on all this? Are you in the wait and see camp? Are you boycotting? Are you just tired of the drama and want to play the game? Let me know in the comments below, and please, whatever you do, don't review bomb below 0. That game doesn't deserve it. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.